There's the wall so far. See, they got that foot of gravel underneath, under the wall plate, 8 inches under the rest of it, or 6 inches, I mean. And then we got a 2x12 footer. Runs along. Got the treated plywood on the outside. All this is the permanent foundation lumber. So because of the weight of some of the individual portions, poured concrete footers instead of just pads in for individual load distribution. And you can see where I anchor it into the concrete there. And then this one, I've got a little concrete anchor out here that I'm going to put a 45-degree support down to, just to I was right at the design limitations of the span for this big room here without putting a shear wall in. So I'm putting a little half shear wall in with that reinforcement there. This big pad in the center is where the pole that goes all the way up from the basement through the middle of the living room and up to support the loft in this big, because the rest of this is a big open room here and then a big open room above it. So there's one big pillar that goes all the way from this big concrete pad straight up to all the way up to the roof. And then this little kick out here is where the stairwell is going to be, that goes all the way up all 3 floors. And continue on down, you can see how we reinforce the corners with some carriage bolts bolted through along each corner. And I messed up my concrete anchor here. You can see where I cut it off right there. I had laid it straight across, forgetting about this kick out, instead of should have been 90-degree anchors. I laid it out like this one, which is straight across the middle, and it should have been laid out like this one, which is a corner bracket. So I had to cut one of those bolts off. That's where I've got so far. So I've got one more wall section to do that'll span from here to the end there. Actually, that'll probably be 2 wall sections. I found that about 12 feet sections is the max I can lift up and move around in any capacity. I use the tractor a little bit to help, but for the most part, lifting anything 12 foot long is about the max. That's also why I didn't finish sheathing all of this, because it's just so heavy. When I did that first 12-foot section with the sheathing and everything on, it just fought me and was dangerous, since I'm doing it all by myself. So I went ahead and just put one piece of sheathing on there to keep everything square, and then I'll put the rest of the sheathing on from the outside, because I got a little bit of room to work back there. I can get back there and stick a sheet up and nail it in place. But I did want to put one on so I could get it nice and square on the ground. There's the escape window well that'll go into the basement here, and then that's the footer trenches on this side, because the garage is 4 foot taller. It's halfway between the basement and main floor. And then this is the frost wall across the front. One more pillar down there. And this is anywhere that doesn't have 4 foot of building, basically, to keep it from frosting over. And where the ground is here, it's just sloping into a 4 foot right about where I dig down. So it'll be 8 foot tall basement. Nice big high roof basement, high ceiling basement, I mean. And then that frost wall will continue on up to the edge of the garage. But I did not dig that in yet because I kept a path for get the tractor in to move material in and get the gravel in and everything. And then I'll put a bunch of gravel in the middle before I dig that trench out so I can finish leveling the floor before I finish that off. A lot of progress for the weekend. Have to, we've got all the reinforcement on either side. You can see the wave going down. Have to get that straightened as we put the floor joists in. All that's sitting up here. As I lay the floor joists in, I'll have to scoot everything a little bit, get it nice and straight and level. Run a 2x4s on the top of this too to tie everything together, those little gaps, just to reinforce it all. Lap the other direction from where I'm lapping on this run. And this will be roughly my back porch view. That height though. Yeah, clean up, get in the house before the sun finishes going over the ridge there.